Have you ever imagined a country where the number of single women is so high, people call it a paradise for those searching for love? It's not in the bustling metropolises of Asia, nor in the glamorous cities of America, but in a small, quiet nation tucked away on the shores of the Baltic Sea, Latvia. A country with fewer than 2 million people, yet carrying a strange paradox, where women outnumber men by a startling margin, creating a social gap that feels both enticing and unbelievable. Picture this. In the old cafes of Riga, you may encounter elegant women, their eyes shimmering with the hope of love, marriage, and belonging. But beneath that romantic haze lies a haunting question. Why are so many women alone here? What forces in Latvia's history, culture, and society have shaped it into the land of longing women? Latvia is not just about untold love stories. It is the saga of a nation scarred by wars, torn between empires, occupied, and then reborn like a phoenix from the ashes. From medieval castles that whisper of battles long past, to the dazzling Art Nouveau buildings that crown Riga, Latvia feels like a living manuscript, where every wall and every street is etched with history. And just a few hours away, the Baltic Sea unfolds before you, icy waves crashing onto endless white sands, a raw beauty that silences even the noisiest of thoughts. In this video, we won't just explore numbers, rents, or salaries. We will dive into the heart of Latvia, its cuisine, its history, its people, and the secrets hidden behind its quiet facades. Imagine opening a forgotten diary, each page written in flavors of cold beet soup in summer, in the songs of winter festivals, or in the distant gaze of a Latvian woman waiting in a quiet square. And perhaps by the end, you'll ask yourself, if you had the chance to come here, would you be ready to live, to love, and to start anew in this mysterious Baltic land? Number 1. Cost of living in Latvia. Have you ever wondered what makes a small Baltic nation so quietly alluring, where the cost of living is so low that even Europeans are astonished? Latvia, often called the silent heart of the North, hides a surprising truth. Living here costs significantly less than in most countries of the European Union. A one-bedroom apartment in the very heart of Riga, a city famously nicknamed the Paris of the North, can be rented for as little as $450 to $700 a month. Move outside the city center and the price drops dramatically to only $200 to $400, a figure that many in the West could only dream of. Street-side eateries offer traditional meals for just $2 to $5. Enough to taste authentic flavors without worrying about emptying your wallet. And if you choose to cook at home, your monthly food bill can shrink even further, making daily life here both simple and accessible. Yet low cost does not mean poverty. On the contrary, the average monthly salary in Latvia stands at around $1,260, while in the rapidly growing tech sector, a programmer's income can easily exceed $4,000. It's a fascinating paradox, a country where living expenses remain modest, yet salaries are high enough to ensure comfort and savings. This combination transforms Latvia into an attractive destination, not only for locals, but also for expats seeking a balanced life, where stable income meets affordable living. Latvia feels like a carefully painted canvas, modern enough not to fall behind, yet modest enough to preserve its authentic soul. And the question that lingers is this: could this balance be the reason why more and more people are drawn here? Not just as tourists, but as seekers of a new chapter in life. As we move forward, we will uncover even more astonishing aspects of this country, hidden beneath its quiet exterior. Number 2. Latvian cuisine. Flavors from the Baltic Sea. Can you imagine a bowl of soup glowing with ruby pink hues, the gentle sweetness of beets blending with the cool tang of kefir, while crisp slices of cucumber and hard-boiled eggs rest like brushstrokes on a canvas of flavor? This is oksta zupa, Latvia's beloved summer dish, and a perfect example of how the Baltic landscape shapes the country's palate. Latvian cuisine is not simply about eating, it is a reflection of seasons, geography, and the resilience of its people. When the harsh winter blankets the pine forests in white, the humble gray peas become a treasure in every household. Cooked, then mixed with smoky bacon and caramelized onions, the dish known as gray peas with bacon doesn't just warm the body, it evokes the endurance of a nation that has always known how to transform hardship into nourishment. And when the feast draws to a close, dessert arrives in the form of rye bread dessert. Crumbled dark bread, berry jam, and whipped cream are layered together, creating a perfect harmony between agricultural tradition and modern creativity. Yet, if one were to choose a true emblem of Latvian cuisine, it would undoubtedly be Riga black balsam. Brewed since 1752, its recipe remains a closely guarded secret. Bitter, sweet, and intoxicating all at once, it is more than a drink. It is the distilled soul of Latvia itself, poured into each glass as though it were a ritual. The lingering question is, could it be that this deep connection with nature and the rhythm of the seasons is what makes Latvian cuisine so unique, so unforgettable? Stay with us, because every flavor we uncover here is only a doorway into deeper cultural discoveries yet to come. Number 3. Internet, gyms, and modern comforts in Latvia. Can you imagine a small country of barely over 1 million people, yet one whose digital infrastructure surprises even some of the world's most developed nations? Latvia is that place. With high-speed internet costing only $18 to $36 a month, you could be sitting inside an old Riga apartment, gazing at the silent grandeur of Art Nouveau facades, while instantly connecting with the entire globe. It feels as though you are living inside an ancient manuscript while simultaneously typing into the digital age. This is not just a statistic. It is Latvia's quiet declaration that it knows how to balance tradition with modernity. But the comforts don't stop there. In Riga, you can find modern gyms for just $20 to $40 a month. In the bright lights of these fitness centers, between the pulse of electronic music and the clang of steel hitting the floor, you glimpse another Latvia, youthful, energetic, and far removed from the old cobblestone streets outside. It is this contrast, between vintage cafes and cutting-edge gyms, between the soft violin notes from a dimly lit bar and the blazing speed of Wi-Fi in every corner, that makes Latvia so unique. It shows a nation not trapped in its past, but leaping forward to keep pace with the digital world. Latvia leaves us with a question. Perhaps the true charm of a nation does not lie only in how much tradition it preserves or how much modernity it embraces, but in its ability to hold both in balance. And as our journey continues, you will discover that this balance itself has become Latvia's identity. A place both timeless and forward-looking, deeply rooted yet undeniably modern. Number 4. The tragic yet resilient history of Latvia. Can you imagine a small nation, caught between powerful empires, standing like a fragile yet unbreakable tapestry, each thread soaked in blood, tears, and pride? Latvia is that nation, a country whose history is not just written in ink, but carved into its very soul with swords, rifles, and the silent cries of millions. For centuries, Latvia was a pawn on the chessboard of Europe, ruled in turns by Sweden, Poland, and the Russian Empire. Each conqueror left its mark, layering the Latvian story like thick strokes on a canvas. In 1918, Latvia declared independence after World War I, and for a brief moment, freedom seemed within reach. Yet only 2 decades later, the nightmare of World War II descended. In 1940, Latvia was occupied by the Soviet Union, only to be seized by Nazi Germany a year later, and then once again absorbed into the Soviet Union in 1944. For nearly half a century, Latvia lived under the shadow of authoritarian rule, where personal voices were silenced, culture suppressed, and national memory forced into slumber. And yet, the miracle lies in the fact that the flame of freedom never died. It lived quietly in folk songs, in secret whispers of language passed down through generations, in the stubborn resilience of a people who refused to forget who they were. Then, in 1991, as the Soviet Union collapsed, Latvia rose once more, reclaiming its independence and affirming its identity to the world. Latvia's history is a sorrowful epic, but also an anthem of survival and rebirth. The question is not only, how did Latvia endure, but also, what gave it the strength to rise again and again? To uncover that answer, we must continue our journey deeper into the nation's culture, its people, and the living testaments that still breathe within its land today. Number 5. Latvia's modern economy and its women. What makes a small country of barely 1.8 million people rise to be classified as a high-income nation by the World Bank? Latvia, sitting at the crossroads of East and West, like a bridge between two worlds, has carved out its own unique path of growth. Today, services, information technology, and logistics stand as the 3 main pillars of its economy. From office towers glowing at night in Riga, where young programmers write lines of code connecting the globe, to the bustling railways and seaports moving goods between Europe and Russia, Latvia proves that it is no longer just a small name on the world map. But perhaps even more remarkable is this. Women in Latvia make up over 76% of the labor force between the ages of 20 and 64, one of the highest rates in all of Europe. This number is more than just a statistic. It is a testament to a society where women stand on equal ground across every field, from university lecture halls to IT companies, from politics to business. The image of Latvian women is both powerful and graceful, like the Baltic Sea and the pine forests, fierce yet steady, soft yet unyielding. And this is one reason why foreign men often find themselves intrigued, even captivated, because in Latvian women they see something rare: independence, confidence, and a pride that is not easily swayed. So perhaps it is this balance between a modern economy and the prominent role of women that makes Latvia not only a place to work, but also a place to discover new bonds and new beginnings. As our journey continues, Latvia will reveal even deeper layers where economy, culture, and humanity intertwine to form a truly unique identity. Take a moment, pause, breathe deeply, and allow your thoughts to slow down, as if stepping out of a crowded street into an empty square, where only the wind whispers and the old rooftops stand in silence. We have just walked through stories of modest living costs, flavors born from the Baltic Sea, modern conveniences, a tragic yet resilient history, and the powerful role of Latvian women. Together they form a mosaic, each fragment, though small, contributing to the greater image of this nation. But when you look at the whole picture, doesn't it seem to whisper something larger? Behind the numbers, the meals, or the architecture, lies a quiet question. What defines the identity of a small nation strong enough to withstand the storms of history? Latvia, in its humble shape, mirrors something deeply human. It is small yet resilient like Finland, artistic and imaginative like France, and serene, almost otherworldly, like Iceland. In Latvia, we glimpse ourselves in our contradictions, our desires and fears, our losses and rebirths, our loneliness and our longing to belong. The image of an ancient village under a winter moon, or a fire ritual burning bright on the Baltic shore, becomes a metaphor for the inner strength that all people, everywhere, carry within. Latvia reminds us that identity is not just what we present to the world, but what is carved into collective memory, into the ways we survive hardship, and into the legacy we leave behind. And perhaps in this quiet interlude, the question is no longer who is Latvia, but who are we, why do we create, and what will we leave behind when darkness finally falls? This pause is necessary, a deep breath before the journey continues, so that we may be ready to face what lies ahead, where Latvia's story becomes not just the tale of one nation, but a mirror reflecting the story of humanity itself. Number 6. Latvia's geography and nature. Can you imagine a country where half of the land is covered by forests, where every road seems to lead you through endless pines, as if you were stepping into a fairy tale with no final page? Latvia is such a place, a land where nature is not merely a backdrop, but the leading character in the grand symphony of life. With over 50% of its territory blanketed in forest, Latvia is like a vast green lung, breathing in rhythm with the changing seasons. Thousands of lakes shimmer like ancient mirrors, reflecting either the deep blue skies of summer or the haunting stillness of a snow-covered winter. Stretching for hundreds of kilometers along the Baltic Sea are fine sandy beaches, where the crash of waves merges with the whisper of the wind, composing an endless melody of the ocean. Jurmala, the jewel of the coast, becomes a summer paradise, drawing visitors from across the continent to bask in golden sunlight, turquoise waters, and air so fresh it feels untouched by time. Yet, when winter arrives, the scene transforms into another world. Pine forests blanketed in snow, rivers and lakes frozen solid, and tiny villages cloaked in a silence so profound it seems as if time itself has stopped. Latvia's nature is not boastful, but carries a purity and depth, like an instrumental piece that speaks without words. It makes us wonder. Perhaps it is this seamless union of forests, lakes, and sea that has shaped the resilient, quiet, yet powerful spirit of its people. And like a bridge, Latvia's natural landscapes carry us forward, from the grandeur of its geography to the deeper discoveries of its culture and humanity, waiting to be unveiled in the chapters ahead. Number 7. The secrets of Art Nouveau and Riga's hidden memory. Imagine walking down a street where the buildings are not silent blocks of stone, but living beings, breathing, watching, and whispering secrets that have been asleep for centuries. This is Alberta Street in Riga, where every doorway, every window, every Art Nouveau relief feels like a pair of silent eyes following you, making you realize you are not a tourist, but an intruder stepping into the memory of an entire city. The more than 800 Art Nouveau buildings in Riga are not just architecture. They are stone cathedrals of imagination, where artisans carved the fragility of human life, the prosperity of a golden age, and the lingering fear of historical upheaval. The faces of goddesses, the swirling floral motifs, the arches that curve like waves, together they form a visual dream, breathtakingly beautiful and yet chillingly mysterious. But hidden behind this beauty is a secret few know. Riga was once one of the most important printing centers in Europe during the 17th century. It was here that the very first books in the Latvian language were printed. Inside cramped rooms filled with the smell of ink and burning wood, laying the foundation for the revival of a national language and identity that once stood on the brink of extinction. Picture it. A lone printer bent over a wooden press, sweat running down his back, while outside, the city trembles under the shadow of foreign armies. Each sheet of paper that rolled off the press carried not just words, but fragments of hope. Bricks for rebuilding the spirit of a nation too small to conquer, yet too stubborn to vanish. Today, when you lift your eyes to Riga's Art Nouveau masterpieces, don't just see the enchanting beauty of the art. Imagine the invisible letters beneath, the memories flowing through every stone, every arch. Riga is not just the Paris of the North. Riga is a diary carved in stone, where every detail whispers, "We were here, we fought, and we survived." The cinematic image might be a deserted street, the cold glow of moonlight falling across the sculpted face of a stone goddess, her hollow eyes staring through centuries as if she still remembers. And the question lingers, echoing in silence. Is a nation's identity preserved only in its language and written history? Or does it also reside in its walls, its bricks, the places where collective memory hides? And if that is true, then what about us? In the cities we are building today, are we leaving behind a Riga for the generations yet to come? A testament that we too once lived, once fought, once dreamed. Number 8. Retirement visa and expat life in Latvia. Can you imagine a place in the world where, with just over $500 a month, you could begin an entirely new chapter of life after the age of 55? Latvia, a small Baltic nation that might look like a faint dot on Europe's map, is quietly becoming a destination for those seeking peace in retirement. With a minimum monthly income of around $540, foreigners can apply for a retirement visa and step into a life of calm and balance, where the cost of living is gentle, but the quality of life remains rich and stirring. Picture summer mornings, walking along Jormala Beach, the Baltic waves glowing pink under the rising sun, or winter afternoons spent inside a wooden cabin, watching snow fall beyond the window as you sip a steaming cup of tea. For many expats, Latvia feels like living inside a European film, where every scene seems to paint itself into a work of art. Yet behind this beauty lies a fascinating paradox. A nation that once endured centuries of turmoil and foreign rule is now a sanctuary for those seeking serenity. Expats here discover more than rest. They find a community, a place to connect, to learn, and sometimes to reignite passions they thought were long lost. In their eyes, Latvia offers a rare balance: affordability, untouched nature, and a cultural depth that feeds the spirit. The question lingers. Perhaps true happiness is not found in chasing the bustling lights of major cities, but in finding a quiet corner of the world where one can grow old gracefully. And that is Latvia's silent invitation to the world. A small country, yet wide enough to embrace all those in search of peace. Number 9. The people of Latvia. Can you imagine a nation whose beauty does not lie in flowery words, but in patient silence, in eyes as deep as pine forests, and in rare smiles as genuine as the fleeting summer sun? The people of Latvia are just that. Calm, reserved, sometimes so quiet that outsiders mistake them for cold. Yet beneath that shell lies warmth and resilience as enduring as the Baltic land itself. Latvians grow up in rhythm with nature. They learn to endure the long winters, to savor the brief rays of summer. And perhaps that is why their character is steady, understated, but strong. Latvian men are often compared to pine trees, straight, firm, not quick to show emotion, but once rooted, they remain loyal and steadfast, like trees gripping the earth. Latvian women, on the other hand, are likened to the Baltic Sea, mysterious, beautiful, and at times unpredictable, gentle like rippling waves, yet fierce like a storm. This contrast creates a unique allure, sparking both curiosity and unforgettable impressions. Yet beyond these metaphors, what unites them is their deep connection to culture and heritage. From folk songs and traditional dances to the pride they hold for their turbulent history. They are not ones to boast, but they preserve memory in every festival, every melody, every story told by the fireside. And perhaps this is what makes the people of Latvia the essential piece in understanding the nation. For in the end, nature, history, and architecture are but backdrops. It is the people who are the soul, the red thread weaving together past and present. And as we continue our journey, you will see that Latvia is not only defined by its ancient streets or endless forests, but by the quiet yet steadfast hearts of its people. Number 10. The art and nightlife of Riga. Can you imagine a city that, when night falls, comes alive like a stage, where every alley and every cobblestone transforms into a frame of a living European film? This is Riga at night, the capital of Latvia, where the past and the present merge to create an atmosphere that is both romantic and mysterious. As golden lights reflect on the stone-paved streets, the sound of a violin drifts from a small bar, blending with the rhythm of jazz spilling out of a half-open wooden door. Cozy pubs hidden within old buildings, street performers singing under dim lights. All of it evokes the feeling of stepping into a French or Italian film from the 1960s. But Riga is not only about music and drinks. It is also the underground art hub of the Baltic region, where modern galleries engage in a dialogue with history, and young artists paint graffiti across weathered walls, challenging memory while opening windows to the future. This duality, preserving the classical while igniting the contemporary, is what makes Riga's nightlife unique. One moment you are lost in the gentle flow of jazz, the next you are mesmerized by a bold contemporary art exhibition. Riga at night is not just a place for entertainment. It is a space for reflection, a reminder that art and life are inseparable, intertwined in every breath, every light, every laugh. And when you finally step out of a late-night bar, walking across cold cobblestones under the watchful gaze of silent Art Nouveau buildings glowing in moonlight, you realize that Riga is truly a city of two faces, lively yet still, worldly yet sacred. And it is precisely this contrast that transforms Riga into a hidden jewel of Europe, a place where memory and the present dance together under the Baltic night sky. Our journey through Latvia ends like a symphony, where every note is woven from nature, history, and its people. From the modest apartments that make life affordable, to the rich flavors of Baltic cuisine, from the tragic past of a nation conquered and reborn, to the proud and resilient Latvian women, from endless forests and shimmering Jurmala beaches to the climax of Art Nouveau architecture in Riga, each element has combined into a vibrant mosaic, painting Latvia as both familiar and mysterious. Yet the deeper meaning of this journey is not just in the numbers, the buildings, or the landscapes. It lies in a question echoing within us all. What defines the identity of a nation, and what remains when time has passed? Latvia reminds us that no matter how small, a country can shine like a torch in humanity's memory, carried by resilience and an unyielding belief in survival. And perhaps, in the women of Latvia, proud yet gentle, we see the dualities that mirror our own lives, longing and solitude, fear and hope, loss and rebirth. So if one day you set foot in Latvia, remember that it is not merely the land of lonely women, but a living testament to the enduring spirit of a small yet proud people. The final image I want to leave you with: pine forests whispering in the wind, the Baltic Sea stretching in endless shades of gray-blue, Art Nouveau facades standing solemn under moonlight, and the soft laughter of Latvians still writing their story. Latvia, in all this beauty, is a reminder that the world still holds countless wonders waiting to be discovered. If you found this video inspiring, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Fascinating Discoveries. Because our journey has only just begun, and ahead lie strange lands and untold stories still waiting to unfold.